Before we go any further in the course, I want to talk about what type of links I think that you shouldn't be building. I think it's pretty important that we touch on these, because if you start building these type of links, they're going to end up hurting your site. And there's obvious types of links you shouldn't be building. And if you're new to link building, you may not have heard of any of these before, but it's a good idea to familiarize yourself with these so you can stay away from them. And the obvious choices for the type of links you shouldn't be building, they're like PBN links, that's a private blog network, Huffington Post contributor links, Forbes links, Web 2.0 spam, where you join a lot of Web 2.0 sites like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and you put your link in the profile of those Web 2.0 sites, and that gives you a link back to your site. And that makes you feel like you're building links. Well, you are building links, but you're not building revenue with your business with those. And a lot of the times, if you use the wrong anchor text for these types of links, you're going to hurt your rankings with Google anyway, or you're going to permanently salt the earth of your website so nothing can grow in it, because even if your site's not ranking and you do a bunch of these types of links, what happens is that's like a farmer pouring salt on his farmland before he plants any seed. Nothing will ever grow there. So if you're doing this type of links thinking, what do I have to lose? I don't have any traffic anyway. I want to encourage you that you're walking backwards when you use these types of links. And I want to encourage you to keep that in mind when you start feeling the temptation to cheating a little bit. And I won't get into what these types of links are, because I don't care what types of links they are. All I know is that every time I've used these in the past, so in the last 5 years, they didn't work. And more times than not, they end up in penalties. And, pardon me. Another thing I see is that a lot of the times where these links will be used, but they're not generating any type of revenue for the site that they're linking to. That's why I think it's just a good idea to avoid these types of links, building these types of links. All right, now this part of the teaching, if you're an SEO agency, you're going to get a little angry at me. And I'm going to just cost you, just hold up a minute before you get too angry. Let me explain why I think building edu links and gov links and link bait links and infographic links to your infographics, even broken link building, why I think it's usually a waste of time. Sure, there's a place for this type of link building, but it usually takes a while to generate revenue. I like to build revenue for my clients, not links. And if those links result in revenue, then those are the links I build. And if you own a small business and you're not an agency owner, you might want to stay away from this type of link building right away, because these usually aren't the type of links that are going to bring revenue for your business. You hope that, the infographic links will bring enough links in and that Google will see those links and they'll improve your search engine rankings for that infographic and you'll get more traffic. But if you really get into analytics and you track your revenue and track your lead sources and your lead conversion rates in your analytics, you'll find out that your link bait piece may not convert traffic at all. It may not make any money for your business. The infographic that looks awesome, it may collect a lot of links, but if it's not generating revenue for your business, why build it? Why promote it? And the same with broken link building. The only time I like broken link building is when you find a broken link on another person's website and they're linking over to like a competitor's site to their sales page. If I can build a broken link to a revenue producing site, this is a page on my client's site or on my site that produces revenue, that converts visitors into money. If I can build broken links to those types of pages, I'm happy. I'll build those type of links. And I want to say that edu links and gov links and link bait and infographics and broken links, that's what most SEO agencies sell, because they can charge you for creating the link bait. Then they can charge you for promoting the link bait. And then if you say, well, it didn't produce any revenue for me, they'll tell you what? You have to wait a while. Google takes a while. The search engine takes there's 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. I don't like waiting. Life is short. I like to build links that generate revenue. And if you take one thing from this course home with you and get it in your mind, links need to produce revenue. And they need to produce it quickly. If I'm going to, as a business owner or a site owner, if I'm going to spend my time earning links And like I said, life is short. I want those links to generate revenue for my business. So this type of link building is great. If you're into an EDU campaign, I would say keep at it. But if it's not producing revenue and you're not happy with it, well, then you know what I think about it. So what types of links shouldn't you be building? It's those ones I showed you before, the obvious ones, the PBN and the spammy types of links and blog comment spam, and also these not so obvious links. I'm not going to teach you how to score EDU links or Gov links or how to create link bait that gets links. I'm not going to teach you that because it doesn't really produce revenue in the short run. And that's what I want to do, is be able to give you enough information in this course so when you're done with it, you're earning revenue, not just links. All right, I want to talk about email spam for a minute. And to me, this is a big problem in the SEO community because a lot of gurus are training their students that the way to succeed in earning links is to build a big list of link prospects, harvest their emails, then send a 4-part follow-up series asking them to link to their site. The problem is that doesn't work. And it's based on numbers, and it's based on the idea that if you throw enough stuff against the wall, some of it will stick, and that will be what earns your links. Well, when you couple that fact in with the fact that most people, they hate receiving email spam. In fact, the idea that I'm going to teach you all through this course is how to build up social equity with the prospects in your industry that can most help your business earn revenue. And that's going to be all about relationship building, finding out who they are, finding out what you can offer them, and then building a relationship with them. Sending them email spam will not build a relationship with your main prospects. And the only people it will build a relationship with are people that respond to spam. And if they respond to spammers that are asking them for links, chances are they're already linking to a lot of spammy sites. So why would you ever want to link to a site like that? Because if you did, Google will penalize your site if you link to a site they think is a spammy site. Now, they won't always penalize you if you're receiving a link from them because you can't always control what links are linking, what sites link to your site. But as the webmaster, the owner of your website, you have absolute control over the sites you link to. So if you link to a spammy site, Google will figure it out that you deserve a penalty for that, and more often than not, they will give you a penalty. So when you take that into consideration, that most of these links are just getting deleted. The ones that do get seen, it just puts a bad taste in the prospect's mouth. Or if they do place a link, it's on a site from a webmaster that responds to these spam emails. So they're already linking to a lot of those other types of sites that use email spam to do their link outreach. It's just a bad situation. And the fact that I don't like about it is it doesn't make any money. It doesn't result in revenue. The only people who make money on these types of campaigns are the SEO agencies running them. Now, I have a lot of experience with email. And I have a lot of experience with spam email. In the 90s and early 2000s, I sent a lot of emails out and they were all spam. I harvested a list of real estate agents from the National Association of Realtors. I had a list of 80,000 real estate agents, and I learned how to email them every day. By the time I was done, I had a list of almost 750,000 to 1 million real estate agents on my list. And I had a server that could send emails out, 1 million emails out a day. Now, when I first started out, I would only send about 300 emails out, 500 emails out, and it filled my inbox in with sales and leads for my business, and it generated a lot of money for my business. But as time went on, I had to start sending more emails out. And then even more emails out. Then even more emails out to get the same results that I was getting from the initial 300 emails I was sending out when I first got into email marketing in 1996, 97. In 2004, I think is when I stopped. 2005, I was having to send 1 million out a day to get as many leads in as I was getting when I first started, sending 300 emails. So I know that this is a no-win game. I know what it ends up in. It ends up with a lot of people upset. It ends up with people sending you death threats. It ends up with people putting your name onto blogs and calling you a spammer. It ends up ugly. And that's why I got out of email marketing. Now, as I got into SEO and did more of that instead of email marketing, I realized that I had to figure a way out to earn links that wasn't dependent upon email spam. Before we move on from email spam, I want to tell you that most link builders never get a chance to understand how harmful sending email spam requests are. I understand fully how harmful it can be because back in the 90s, I was a prolific email spammer. And what I would do is I would send emails out to real estate agents and attempt to sell them my ebooks or my training services or my lead generation services. And I would find people that didn't know who I was, and I would find their emails online. I would send them an email, and then they would call me, and then I would get business that way. And it worked very well in the 90s. I would usually have to send out 300 emails to get 3 or 4 sales. So I was getting close to a 1% conversion rate off the emails. By the time I got into the 2005, I had to quit because my entire business had switched from sending 300 emails out to getting a couple of sales to having to send out 1 million emails a day in order to get even one sale. And usually I was only getting one sale every 3 days from every 3 million emails. So go from a 1% conversion rate to getting one sale from 3 million emails. It didn't take me long to understand that email marketing via spam is a no-win situation. And what makes the matter worse is for every 10,000, 50,000, million people you need to send an email to before they're willing to give you a link, how many of those people that aren't going to give you a link are going to be upset with you? How many of them are going to trash your name? How many of them are going to go to Web 2.0 forums and trash your name for sending out the spam? It happens. It happened to me. I had lots of spam complaints in the early 2000s just because the medium of email spam had quit working. So I had to win with a numbers game. So as I look at this taking place in the link building industry, in the realm of link building, I find it very disappointing that SEO teachers will teach you just to build your email list up of prospects, and that the answer is in numbers rather than trying to figure a different way out to earn links. And in this course, I'm not going to tell you to do email spam. It doesn't work. There's a lot of gurus who will teach you that, and you can go online and find their courses and take their courses if that's what you're looking to do. But if you want to earn revenue with the links that you build instead of spam complaints, continue on in the course because you're not going to be disappointed. Let's talk about the anatomy of a failed link campaign. Some of these things on here may surprise you, some may not. And before we can talk about what type of links that you should be building to earn revenue, I'm going to talk about what type of links that you shouldn't be building. And I know we went into the obvious types of links that you shouldn't be building and the not so obvious, but now I want to talk about why most link campaigns fail. And I do a lot of consultations with new link builders, and I deal with a lot of SEO agencies. They come to me for advice for their client campaigns. And for the most part, I found these are the reasons why that you see here on the board, and I'll go over each of them, why their campaigns are failing. And if your campaign's failing, it's probably because of one of these things. And one of the first things I see, and probably the biggest thing I see that's causing a lot of people failed campaigns, is the fact that they're basing their entire outreach campaign and link campaign based upon the merits of their content. Now, a long time ago, it was very easy to rank sites with thin content. In fact, I've ranked a lot of sites that had no content on it. It was just a blank install of a WordPress theme. And once I installed the WordPress theme and I forgot to put content on the site, and then we started the link building, and the site ranked for our money keywords. That's how easy it was to rank back then. And so what happened is Google made an adjustment to their algorithm, and then thin content was penalized. It was a lot harder to rank. So then the algorithm moved the entire SEO industry into creating more quality content. And it's certainly important for you to create more quality content for your site. Thin content is not going to earn revenue for your business. This course is not, I'm not going to tell you not to create quality content. I'm telling you, don't base your link campaign based upon the merits of your content. And a lot of the times, when you were dating, if you're a guy and you asked a girl out to date and she asked you and you asked her out and she said, no, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And then you said, well, wait, why not? My breath doesn't stink. I put some mints in my mouth. I comb my hair. I brushed my eyebrows back a little bit. And why aren't we going out? You can't base your campaigns on the merit of your content the same way you can't base whether or not somebody else will find you attractive and want to spend time with you just because you chewed a piece of gum before asking them out. So it should go without saying. It should be a given that your content is good content. It should be a given when you're asking somebody out that you put a Tic Tac in your mouth. Those are givens. Those aren't selling points. Those are givens. Now, so if you're running a campaign based upon the merits of your content, more chances than not, you're going to run into problems. And that problem is going to be a lack of revenue coming in from your website. Now, let's talk a little bit about bad contact information. If you use tools like BuzzStream, or if you use tools that scrape who is information, where you can put 100 websites into this scraper and it'll tell you all the contact information that it can find from that site, then it gives you that contact information so you can then email them. The problem is most of those names that they find, those contact names, are not the decision maker for the website. So if you're pulling information from who is, if you're pulling emails from sites, there's a good chance it's the wrong person and it's the wrong contact information. So if it doesn't matter if you send 10,000 link requests out, if they're going out to 10,000 of the wrong people, you're just going to upset 10,000 people and not get any links. So it's very important that you choose prospects you can find their contact information. And Eric Ward had a very high close rate when he sent out link requests. In fact, it was 92%. And he said, I don't like to tell people it's 92% because it's hard for people to really grasp that that's possible, that such a high conversion rate is possible. He got that number by being very selective with the link prospects that he went after. He went after prospects where he could find their contact information. Why would we ever try to earn a link from somebody when we're not sure of their contact information? It doesn't make sense. So make sure you're getting the right contact information when you're running these link campaigns. Another thing I see a lot of failed campaigns are the cause of ignored outreach attempts. How many times have you received, well, if you have any type of blog that's getting any type of traffic, you probably receive link requests. And most of the times, these link requests are just copy and pasted emails that they found on Moz, or they found templates written somewhere else on a website, and they copied it word for word, inserted their link, and then send it out in mass. The problem with that is that people ignore those emails. Remember when I said I got into email marketing, spamming, and I only had to send 300 emails out to get a sale or 3 sales? It's a lot different. And then at the end, I got to where at the end I had to send 1 million out, 2 million, 3 million out. Well, that's because people were starting to ignore my message. They were the right emails, but they were the wrong message. So if you have the wrong contact information, you're going to fail. If you have the wrong outreach attempt message, link outreach message, you're going to fail. Another thing I see, we'll move on, is a lot of people fail in their link campaigns because they're attempting to fool Google. That's black hat SEO. At one time, I was very efficient at fooling Google. And it was fun fooling Google because it was almost like printing money. And when you fool Google, the rankings come very fast, usually. But those days are over for the most part. If you're running a business and a website that you want to keep up over time and have it become a revenue generator for your business for a long time to come, and you're not going to just switch domains out if your site gets penalized, don't try to fool Google. In fact, ignore Google completely. The only thing you want to follow from them is their best practices and what not to do. But if you follow the instructions I give you in this video, you'll follow their best practices. So for now, forget trying to fool Google. They're hard to fool. And it puts more effort into trying to fool Google than it does into earning revenue. It's harder to fool Google than it is to earn revenue from your link building efforts. So I'm going to show you how to earn that revenue, and so you don't have to try to fool Google. Another thing that, I talked about link outreach spam, just like email spam. The more numbers you send, the more chances you have of getting links. But if it's going out to link outreach prospects who respond to that type of email, there's a good chance they're already linking to a lot of spam sites. I know I said that before, but when you link to a link outreach spam outreach email, there's a good chance that link you're giving that person is going to hurt your site. That's why a lot of people ignore the emails. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about is begging. When you ask somebody for a link and you don't put anything in it for them, so there's nothing in it for them, when they say, what's in it for me to give you a link, and your answer is zip, zero, zilch, you're not going to get any links. So if you're attempting to earn links without first earning the right to ask for a link, you're begging. So these are some of the different ways that I see campaigns fail on a continual basis. And avoid them. They take up a lot of time, they take up a lot of effort, and they usually produce very little results. Now we'll go on to the next segment, and I'm going to show you a better way to start building links. Let me ask you an important question. In fact, it's going to be the most important question I ask you this entire training series. How much revenue is your website earning from referral traffic? You know, if I were to link to your website from mine, every time one of my visitors clicked that link and headed over to your site, that would be referral traffic. So it's important to understand what type of referral traffic you're already receiving to your site before you can improve it. That makes sense. It's also important that you understand how to set up analytics so it is tracking that revenue and the traffic coming in from referral sources if you're not already. And that's something that it's a bit beyond the scope of this lesson. I can't teach you analytics in this course. I might be able to do a little bit of screen captures when we do the live Q&A sessions at the end of each of these modules. But for the most part, you're going to have to learn on your own how to set up analytics. There's a lot of great courses that will help you set up analytics. I recommend the Google Analytics certification that they offer. It's a free course and it's very in-depth. And when you pass that test and they certify you, you'll understand how to track revenue and referral traffic on your website. So that's important that we touch base on that right now, because what I'm going to teach you for the rest of this lesson and these modules is how to build up revenue from your referral traffic sources. And why do we want referral traffic? Why am I focusing on referrals first and Google second? Why? Because referral traffic is a gift that keeps on giving. Once you get a link from somebody big in your industry, and they feature that link prominently on your website, people are going to keep clicking that link and ending up at your website. And when they end up at your website, there's a good chance they're going to purchase the product or services that you sell. So I love referral traffic. It's a gift that keeps on giving to your business. And it's not dependent upon whether or not Google likes your website or likes your links. It's dependent totally upon whether or not the owner of the site that gives you a referral and gives you a link likes your site. And they're a lot easier to convince than Google's algorithm is. All right. Another good thing I like about getting referral traffic is that it means that I'm building a relationship with somebody in my business, in my industry, that can help my business. So that's a good thing. And a lot of the time, those referrals and those links I get from those type of people, they turn into endorsements. And when you get an endorsement from a major player in your industry, good things happen. So this whole system is about getting referrals, getting referral traffic, getting the okay from the people that can give you referral traffic, and continue building relationships up with them until they lead to endorsements. And I'll tell you, I received a link from Eric Ward a year ago. It was the first link he gave me. I didn't get much play out of that. It was just great that Eric Ward linked to my site. And that made me happy. but it didn't bring a lot of business in. But I kept with Eric, and I'm using the same system I'm going to teach you how to use, and Eric and I became great friends, and that first link eventually turned into an endorsement. And how did I get those endorsements? Well, I'll get into that in a little bit, but I will tell you that the endorsements came via a stealth link. And Eric Ward always talked about stealth links. Stealth links are links that you can place on important sites, or that you get on newsletters, or that you can get from the industry leaders in your industry, that where they link over to you that isn't on their website. So your competition can't search these links and find them. In fact, they won't even know they exist. So that's why I like stealth links. And they Google proof your business. Why do you want to Google proof your business? In 2012, when the algorithm hit my agency, when it hit, our agency was hit bad. We had 5,000 campaigns just tank overnight. And that wasn't a pleasant feeling. Why wasn't that a pleasant feeling? Because we had all our eggs in the Google basket. And when you do that, bad things are going to happen. You need to have as many different referral sources as you can get, because like I said, they're the gift that keeps on giving. Google gives temporarily, then Google takes away. Then Google gives back, and then they take away again. Much easier to focus on building links that lead to referrals and endorsements and stealth links. And if you do that, you get a lot more money. And that's what you're about to learn in this series. So let's continue on. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about what's holding you back from getting started, earning links that generate revenue for your business instead of links that you hope will influence the search engines. There's a lot of things that held me back from implementing this system that you're learning in these training sessions and these modules that you signed up for. It took me a while to learn this system. And at first it was learned helplessness. I thought the only opportunity I had to generate traffic from my website or from my clients' websites was to generate free organic traffic via the search engines like Google and Bing. And because I had that learned helplessness stuck in my noggin, it kept me from implementing the type of link building we do now for our clients, which I call golden prospect link building, where you're going out and you're finding the very best influencers in your industry who are not your competitors, who have a huge following, and who with just giving you a single link or a stealth link can give you all kinds of traffic. But when I first started out, I couldn't do that type of linking because I thought my only chance at earning links was to get traffic, was to get free traffic from the search engines. I thought any industry leader that was out there that was worth their salt wouldn't link to me. So I kind of led into a low self-esteem. How can I earn a link from an industry influencer if I have a low self-esteem? If I feel like my content isn't worthy of generating a link from somebody big in my industry, that's going to hold me back from earning the types of links that will generate revenue. And those are just a couple of the things that held me back as I got into this style of link building. And it's probably holding you back a little bit too. So that's why I wanted to take a little bit of time and just talk to you before we get into the final segments of this module on what I would like you to do going forward and what you can do going forward to get more revenue for your business. So it's either learned helplessness. Maybe you think since you can't afford PPC or Google AdWords or Facebook ads or Twitter ads or LinkedIn ads or Bing ads, that you can't afford that. Since you can't afford those, your only options are to go with free traffic from the search engines. That's incorrect. And I'm glad you paid for this course, and I'm glad you're watching this module and the next one. I hope you continue with the modules and continue this series, because it's all about helping you understand that you do have other options. There are people who will link to you that have all kinds of traffic and they'll be willing to endorse you too. If you follow the instructions I share throughout this module, you're going to be in a pretty good place to earn that revenue, earn that traffic rather, and then have that traffic turn into revenue. But learned helplessness. You have other options than just free traffic from the internet. You do, from Google rather. Low self-esteem. Why would anybody big in your industry ever link to your site? It's because you're going to follow the training that I give you through this course, so they will link to you. Because they will link to you if you follow what I share in these modules. All right, so maybe you were trained incorrectly. Maybe you bought a big course and they taught you a different style of link building that was centered around the merit of your content, or maybe building skyscrapers, or maybe great infographics, or whatever, or link bait pieces. Maybe you were taught that, and that's what's holding you back from being able to generate the type of links that you're going to learn in this course. Another thing that might be holding you back is not knowing that links are for sales, not for SEO. Let me say that again. Links are for sales, not SEO. Yes, the links that you earn from what you learn in this course will affect the search engines positively. They will like the links you build when they're coming from major people in your industry. And some of these things, they get in your way and they'll hold you back from being able to land those type of links. And I want to encourage you that you can earn links from people like that in your industry. You can earn endorsements from people who can help your business. Will you have to make some changes to your site? Maybe. Will you have to change the way you outreach and network with these people? Yes, you will. You'll have to build relationships and not just be thinking about links. But that's why I encourage you to finish the training in this course, because if you do, you won't have anything holding you back from earning the type of links that's going to earn you the revenue that you always wanted to earn with your website. All right, continuing right along. We're making pretty good progress here in this module, so we're almost done. I want to tell you that before we do go further, I want to talk about some of the things some of the traits of a typical link building campaign, and then I'm going to compare it to the traits of the type of campaign that I'm going to teach you how to build in the next modules. First of all, a typical link building campaign is faceless. It consists of sending a lot of emails out to faceless people, hoping that they're going to be the right people, and then hoping they're going to like your email, then like it enough to actually reply back and then actually give you the link. And that's faceless. That doesn't involve any risk of rejection. And that's why it's usually a bad practice. Because if you are avoiding rejection from your link prospects, it means you're not reaching out to them personally. You're reaching out to them in a faceless way so you don't get your feelings hurt if they tell you no. And that's link building. And that's something you have to get. That typical link building, that trait right there is one you need to get rid of. The faceless approaches, they don't work. It's also passive. You could send a bunch of emails out within 15, 20 minutes and then go on with your day. That's very passive. I know that in the businesses that I've had success with, the ones I made the most money with were not passive or faceless. They involved rejection. They've involved being aggressive with the link building. That's what they've involved. But whenever you try to do any endeavor, whether it's making money, asking your girlfriend to marry you, or asking the girl across the street to go out on a date with you, whatever it is you're doing, if it's faceless, if it's passive, it's going to fail. And you might get some anecdotal success. And I think that's probably the first time I've ever used the word anecdotal. Did I use it right? Who knows? Who cares? But the thing is, if you're faceless, if you're passive, if you're trying to minimize your rejection levels, that's going to lead to failure, because success comes from going after what you want, having confidence in what you have to offer and what you have to offer the people you're trying to build relationships with. And none of these traits is going to land you the type of links you need to land to earn the money that you want to earn with your website. So I'm hoping that I can get this into your head that these type of things are bad for link building. It might be good because they may feel good at first because you're minimizing the rejection. But anybody that doesn't get rejected isn't getting they're not getting anywhere. You have to be rejected to go forward. You have to succeed in link building. So don't be afraid to get rejected. All right, another thing that typical link building campaigns usually involve is a major dose of hoping Google's going to reward the links with extra traffic. And that's what all SEO is about, getting enough links to get Google to find those links and to reward those links with extra free traffic coming from their search rankings pages. Now that's the hope. But I want to tell you that's a fool's hope. It comes and it goes. Google giveth, Google takes away. And that's just the way it is. And if one of the things that's holding you back is the mindset that I have to build links so Google will give me traffic, you're going to love this course. You're going to love what I teach you because it's easier to earn links. This is what Eric Ward and I used to talk about a lot. This system of building links is a lot easier than any other system of building links. So you can build links with the industry leaders, and it's easier to do than it is with this type of linking. It's amazing how that works. So you have X amount of time to put into your business. Do you want to put it into something that does this, or do you want to put it into something that gets results? That's going to be up to you. But I know you want results. That's why you bought the course. That's why you're dealing with me. That's why you're looking at me right now and listening to me. You want a better way of getting links. This type of link building, I kind of refer it to in the Army. We used to pitch quarters up against the wall, and whoever pitched their quarter the closest to the wall would get to keep all the money and from everybody else that pitched it. And we do that because we were bored. But a lot of link builders are like pitching pennies against a wall and hoping as they go to retrieve their penny that there'd be $100 bill there instead of a penny. That's because they're hoping Google's going to reward the links. I'm going to tell you straight up that one penny does not turn into $100 with this type of link building. It just doesn't. It used to, but unless you have a hot tub time machine, it's not going to work for you. You need a time machine for these type of links to turn from pennies into $100. And if you're just getting into link building, you missed it. And if you've been in link building for any length of time, for more than 4 or 5 years, you know what I'm telling you is true. You can no longer turn pennies into $100 bills. That is alchemy. That doesn't work. And you don't have to feel sorry for yourself that you fell for an alchemy scam, so to speak. You're hoping to turn lead into gold or pennies into $100 bills. A lot of smart people fall into that trap. And Sir Isaac Newton himself was, in his end of his career, he was guilty of trying to turn pennies into $100 bills. He really thought he can turn lead into gold. He became an alchemist. And he's one of the smartest scientists in the history of the planet. So if you've fallen for the trap of thinking you can turn pennies into $100 bills, it's a pretty common trap. Finally, this type of link building usually fails to increase sales, and it's because of all these things here. Now, those are the reasons why I think that typical link building is bad for your business, and why I don't employ this type of link building in the campaigns that we run or for our clients or our site. And I'm hoping that if you get nothing else from this course, that you get this in your mind, that any type of campaign that is based on faceless, passive, and minimizing your rejection is going to end up in failure. Let me show you a better way to earn links and what you can get from my way of link building that I think you're going to love. All right, now let's compare the style of linking that I'm going to teach you for the rest of this course. I already showed you what the other type of linking typically involves, passiveness and fear of rejection and all that stuff that doesn't involve making money. But what I'm going to tell you in this course, and what I teach you in this course, is going to teach you how to be assertive. And being assertive is how you generate revenue. That's just the way it is. You need to be assertive in the right ways. And in the coming modules, you're going to learn how to do that. You also you're going to learn how to become production-oriented. Instead of hoping that the links you've earned are going to increase your Google traffic, instead you're going to be production-oriented. How are you going to earn sales from referral traffic, not hoping that Google is going to give you those sales? Also, it involves plenty of opportunities to be rejected. Being rejected is no fun. Look at this mug. I've been rejected a lot. The ladies didn't like me at all, but I still ended up all right. I'm married to a beautiful woman. I have 7 kids. And in my early years, it involved a lot of rejection. And because it involved a lot of rejection, I became passive. And because I became passive, I got to watch a lot of Matlock reruns with my grandparents on Friday nights. Hey, it wasn't that bad. Matlock was a good detective. But once I got tired of spending Friday evenings watching Andy Griffith or Matlock or whatever it is I was watching, I wanted a little more out of life. So I quit being passive. I became more assertive, and And then I was rejected a little bit more. I'm not going to lie. And then I got married to who I thought was the prettiest girl in the high school. And I want to tell you that getting rejected sucks. And there's a lot of different ways to get rejected. You could cold call. You're not going to, none of this that you learn from me is going to involve cold call, because I hate rejection too. I despise it. So I create systems that are effective but minimizes the opportunity to be rejected. And a lot of that has to do with what Jordan Harbinger from The Art of Charm talks about. It talks about building social capital up with people. If you build social capital up and social equity, if you work as you're reaching out to golden prospects and you're dealing with them and networking with them and helping them out, following the instructions I teach you in this series, you're going to start earning social equity with them, social capital. And then what's going to happen is you can ask for the link or the traffic, and you're going to have the opportunity to be rejected. But the more social capital that you have saved up and built up, the less rejected you're going to get. And then you're going to ask in a way that even if they do reject you, they can give you something else and you can save face. And that's something that I'll teach you in another module. Another thing this system is about, it's about building relationships with the people who can help your business the most. And that takes self-esteem. That takes assertiveness, and that takes being production-oriented. Going after people who cannot help your business and asking them for links is a complete waste of your time. And it's probably because you're not being assertive enough, or you're being passive, and you don't want to get rejected by the people who really matter in your industry. Because if you get rejected by somebody that, if their site's not all that great, and if they reject you for a link, it's not really going to hurt your business. Well, the other problem with that is if they do give you a link, it's not going to help your business. And how many no's do you have to receive to get that? No's do you have to receive before you get that one yes from one of those mediocre link prospects? Sometimes a lot. So it just turns into be like this circle that keeps going around and around, and that has us like a dog chasing its tail, and we never catch it. And then we're wondering why we don't have enough more money coming out of our websites, or why we don't have more success coming with our link earning, or why we're not getting endorsements from big people in our industry. And a lot of that just comes about it's the mindset that comes from being assertive, and this system involves building your self-esteem up, because as you get people in your industry to link to you and give you endorsements, that's going to boost your self-esteem. And as your self-esteem gets boosted up, you're going to get right back to being more assertive, and you're going to be more production-oriented, and it's going to be the circle that keeps on giving. You can chase your own tail building wrong links, or you can follow the circle where you constantly get better and better and more self-esteem, then you get more assertive, then you get better at reaching out. Then what will happen is you'll have all the traffic and revenue your website needs. And this system that I teach you is about earning money, not links. So that's a difference between typical link building and the type of link building I call golden prospect link building. So let's get into your homework for this module, and then we can go from there. We just made it to the end of Module 1. You have homework, though. We're going to have a live session on Wednesday. We're going to do that at 2 p.m. Eastern, and I'm going to remind you via email, too, that, hey, we're having the Q&A session for Module 1. But you do have some homework, and what I'd like you to do first is to get into your Google Analytics, look at all your pieces of link bait, and find out what your sales conversion rates are for those pieces of link bait. And I don't mean what your bounce rate is, or what your lead rate is, or what your conversion rate is as far as getting people to actually link to the link bait. I mean, how many sales are being converted by your link bait? It doesn't have to just, if somebody comes to your link bait, then wanders off to the rest of your site, then opts into your list, and then later, a month later, purchases something, that would be recorded by analytics if you get it set up right. And maybe I can do on the Q&A on Wednesday, I can go through and show you how to set some of that up real quickly. Like I said, if you don't know how to use analytics, I Google Analytics certification, and then they'll take you to a course page, and then you can sign up and then take that course, because it's really going to come in handy in your link building career to be able to know analytics and know how to use it. But I want you to go through all your link bait, because I know people are going to say, Matt, are you telling me I shouldn't be building links to my link bait? And I'm going to tell you, if it's not converting sales conversions for you or attributing to sales, when I say attributing, it means like if somebody comes in to your link bait and wanders to the rest of your site, opts into your list, like I said, and a month later buys something from you, analytics will catch that and attribute that sale, your link bait page as a important page in that process to convert that visitor into a customer. Now, if you don't have analytics set up right, you're going to be behind the eight ball. But figure out what your sales conversion rates are for your link bait. If you don't have any link bait, well, I guess you don't have anything to do. And that's a good thing because you won't be hung up on trying to save that. Because if you have a link bait piece that isn't converting sales but is attracting links and you get a little bit of play with it, you're going to want to keep your link bait going. And I'm not saying delete your link bait. I'm just saying this type of linking that you're going to do as part of this module, if you choose to implement what I teach you, is going to not be based on your link bait unless it's converting sales. I hope that part makes sense. All right, homework lesson number 2. Pull a list of the top 25 influencers in your industry who are not your competitors. And this may seem a daunting task, but it really isn't. It's the easiest way I know to do link prospecting. Figure out who the big people are in your industry, find them, and then write their names down on an Excel list, a spreadsheet of some sort. You can use Google Sheets. You can use a number of different, however you want to do it. But pull a list of the top 25 influencers in your industry who are not your competitors. And these have to be people that you want to earn a link from, obviously, too. So if it's somebody you don't like or you don't respect for whatever reason, they shouldn't be on your list. Then I want you, below this video, there will be a link to my PDF, my book, Link Building Debunked. Go ahead and read that. And that's a short book. It should take you an hour or so. It really goes into detail a little more. I give you a little more background into my style of link building. And then finally, once you finish that, on Wednesday, 2 o'clock Eastern, there's going to be another live question and answer session. This one will not be open to all Link Moses subscribers, but only to you because you signed up for this course. And on that session, we'll go over all your homework. We'll go over any questions you have from this module, from what you just watched. And also, we'll talk about the next module. In the next module, we're gonna get deep into what you need to do to earn links from these big names. But first, before we can earn links from them, we have to know who they are. And that's what your job is now. Learn who they are, figure out what your sales conversions are, read my short book, then I'll see you Wednesday on the live Q&A session. Now, I ask that if you have any questions for me for this session, that you confine your questions to anything related to this module and what I just taught in this module. If you have another question for me and you ask me, and if it's something I'm going to cover in a later module, I'll tell you then, and then you'll have to wait till then to hear your answer, because I want this to be as concise as possible for people trying to figure out these 3 things right here. Really to pull their prospects and also to figure out what their sales conversions are on their link bait pages. So that's module number 1. That's your homework. On Wednesday, we'll go over your homework, and I'll help you fill some influencers out if you're having questions. And so bring your questions, and I'll see you there. See you in the Q&A. Bye.